Welcome to the A Bit of AI show with your hosts, Henk and Amy.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 10th A Bit of AI show. My name is Henk Boelman and I'm a white male with brown hair wearing glasses and a maroon shirt. Hi Amy, good morning.
Good morning. Hi, my name's Amy. I am a female with blonde hair and I'm wearing a short-sleeved black dress today. Really excited for our 10th episode. Also, we did just have a discussion backstage whether Henk's shirt is maroon or whether it is burgundy. So yeah, feel free to put in the chat what you think it is. I disagreed.
And I never heard of that last caller.
I know, neither had our guests, so who knows? I'm probably just making it up.
Yeah, let's see. So once again, everyone, welcome to the 10th A Bit of AI show. And this show is all about the story from the people behind AI. In our job, like Amy and my job, we meet many people around the globe and realize that there are so many different skilled people involved in creating an AI solution. From pre-sales and consultancy to creating the deep neural networks itself, and also very important, running them in production. And in this show, we invite people from all over the world that are professionals in the AI space to have a chat and talk about what they do during the week. And this is the 10th episode, and we couldn't be more excited to start talking with our guest and learn what it is all about. In this show, we have two items. First, we start with our guest Gary to chat about his life in AI. And finally, we dive into an AI Learn Challenge of the week. And as always, everything is available on our website, abitofai.show.
And don't forget, if you join us or this is the first time that you're joining us, we have something called the A Bit of AI Cafe. In the cafe, you can come and speak with myself and Henk after the show, or I'm pretty sure you're going to want to talk to our guest. So yeah, join us in 30 minutes after the show where we can have a good chat. We share links, we share screens and demos and all sorts. So definitely come along. It's aka.ms/abitofai-cafe.
Perfect. So let's not waste any time and invite Gary to the screen.
Hello.
Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. How are you? I'm joining you with a maroon jacket on, so it's good to be here.
Welcome, Gary. Welcome. Myself and Henk, we know Gary very, very well. But Gary, please introduce yourself to our wonderful attendees that are watching.
Great. Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. My name is Gary Pretty, and I'm a program manager working at Microsoft on the conversational AI team. So we build products like Bot Framework SDK and Bot Framework Composer for building conversational applications.
Wonderful. So yeah, in the engineering team, building the tools that we see and use on a daily basis, which is really exciting. I've been working with you quite closely on some of the Bot Framework Composer stuff. Great experience and really, really exciting for what else is coming as well, which is great. But Gary, first of all, we want to hear a bit about you and actually your day job, because I think we hear a lot, especially in some of Microsoft's sort of first party conferences, the words program manager, software engineer, product owner, stuff like that. But what does it mean? What does it look like on a daily basis? So all jobs are different daily, but what does the average day in your life look like?
Sure. Yeah. Well, being a PM, a Microsoft program manager, can vary from team to team. But largely, one common theme that tends to run through most program managers' jobs is the fact that we are here to advocate for and to help to plan product features and product roadmap. So we will meet with customers to try and understand customer requirements. We will use the product ourselves to try and understand where the pain points are. And so our day can be extremely varied. So, let's take an average day for me, and where I can take, potentially a day this week. I'll wake up today and I'll be doing this with your good selves. In more normal times, I could be out speaking in person, because it's our responsibility as program managers, as well as other people on the team, to be out there advocating for our products and our features, and making sure that people know about the latest and greatest in what we're doing, and meeting our end customers. After that, I could be in Word, writing specifications for features that customers have been asking for. We're in a cycle of planning is coming up for our sort of post-build work, and so I'll be deep in spec writing along with my colleagues, planning features that you'll see in 3, 6, 9 months time, where we'll start out fairly high level, and then we'll sort of we have to work cross disciplines. So we'll work with our design teams, our engineering teams, and we tend to have counterparts on each of those, certainly in my team. And we'll work together to, maybe we'll bring an idea, I'll flesh it out in an initial specification, and then we'll work together to really sort of bottom out that feature and really understand what does that look like. And then I'll follow that feature right through to the point at which it goes live, at which point it's then again back to the meeting with customers, maybe ahead of the feature going live, to educate them as to what's coming. We have NDA conversations. I will have maybe 2 or 3 conversations, 2 or 3 hours a week, where I'm sort of in deep with customers, understanding what they're looking for and helping them understand what's coming. And then it's back round to the advocacy piece, and I could be recording videos for conferences like Build that's upcoming at the moment, writing blog posts to go out at those conferences, and making sure that, we complete that cycle and people know what we're doing. So it's very varied, and that's why I absolutely love it.
That's amazing. I was going to say the variety there, it's everything from imagination to communication to coding. Gary, you didn't even mention it, but I know you're in and out of code all day, every day, whenever I speak to you, and always sending little demos to me.
Well, I mean, I became a PM not even 12 months ago now. So I actually started at Microsoft as an engineer on the engineering team. And it just became obvious after a while that it was a better fit for me as a program manager because of the variety, because I really enjoy the customer side and the advocacy side. But I guess I'm more of a technical program manager, which means as well as planning the features, if I see something that I think is an opportunity, then I'm fully empowered to go and proof of concept that feature, go and build it. I'm in the engagements with customers. I'm deep in the product, demoing all of our features. So I'm very sort of on the front line, and again, it just adds to that variety. But I do spend a fair bit of time in Visual Studio, which is always nice.
Your home, where you've always been. But that's so good. Well, speaking of which, you mentioned Microsoft Build. So for those that don't know, Microsoft Build is coming up the 25th to the 27th of May. You can go register now at mybuild.microsoft.com to get all the latest and greatest of what's happening here at Microsoft from the developer point of view, and data scientists, obviously, who are relevant to this show. But Gary, can we ask you, what are you working on at the moment? What are some of your current projects that you're focusing on?
Yeah, so we have as I said earlier, our primary products are our Azure Bot Service, which allows you to take a conversational application and make that available on multiple channels. So things like Microsoft Teams or a web chat, and even now telephony. So enabling bots to be talked to over the telephone. So that we've been making some good strides there. And then supporting Azure Bot Service, we have the Bot Framework SDK, which is the SDK that lets you build these applications. And then on top of the SDK, we have Bot Framework Composer, which is our visual authoring IDE for bots. And we've spent the last 6 months driving a lot of change into these products and a lot of improvements. And I think folks are going to be really happy with them if they've used the products before. We've got a release coming up for Build over the next few weeks, and you'll see a lot of change where we've really tried to make sure that we have the getting started experience and the ability for folks who are new to the products, enable them to get started quicker than ever before, integrating our Azure portal with our tooling deeply, but also with a very big focus on even people who've been using the product day in, day out for 12 months. We've been listening to where are the friction points? What's your feedback? Like, where can we help you get even more productive? And we've put a lot of effort into improving the authoring experience, the testing experience, adding integrated testing in our last release just a few weeks ago, so that you don't always have to jump out into external testing tools like the Bot Framework emulator. So there's been a huge focus on that, and I'm excited to see what people think. That all of that should be available, as I say, over the next couple of weeks.
Do you sometimes get that, like, when you're a kid and you had a birthday party and you're like, I hope people turn up? Like, is it that kind of feeling when you've worked so hard on something and then you're like, I hope people like it?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because externally, so I joined Microsoft about 18 months ago, and prior to that, I used to watch Build every year. Build and Ignite, I'd finish work early, I'd set myself up and I'd watch the keynotes and I'd be super excited, and it would be a big deal, and it's still a big deal, but it's a big deal for like 3 months, and so by the time you actually get to the conference, it can be you're still really busy. I mean, the week of Build, I'm doing demos, podcasts, streams, interviews, but it can feel like a little bit of an anticlimax. So you've got to try and make sure you keep yourself going, because it's, there's a lot of work goes on that I don't think people necessarily always see. There's hundreds of people working on individual products, driving them for Build. So, but no, I'm really excited. It is always nerve-wracking to put features in people's hands and find out whether or not you've done the right thing. If you haven't, that's fine. We can change direction, but you always hope that you've hit the nail on the head, right? So,
excellent. So what I want to know, we heard now a lot about what you do now, but I want to hear a little bit about your journey, how you got to this point. So the question would be like, how did you get into this AI space?
Yeah, it took quite some time actually for me. So I started out, I went to university and did a software engineering degree. Didn't finish. I actually dropped out of university 3 months before graduating. I didn't find the university course very interesting at all, and everything was pretty out of date. And I think if I hadn't dropped out, I probably would have flunked it anyway. So I left, and I'd already taught myself, self-taught programming languages at home, and started a freelance web design business. But I was very generalist, and I, within a couple of years, was working at a Microsoft partner, a digital agency of about 40 or 50 people, and was there for a good 10 years. And in that role, I was primarily a web developer, but it's where I really got my taste for the variety, because because it's a small company, I ended up being, consultant and helping with the marketing and being out there selling and working with the customers and doing the development, and then later on leading on projects. But I worked on everything from SharePoint to Windows 8 apps, Windows Phone apps, Silverlight apps early in the days. And I always liked being on the bleeding edge, but never really specializing. And then in 2016, I was sat watching the Build keynote, and they came out on stage and announced Microsoft Bot Framework. And I was just taken by it. This idea that we could use AI technologies to have conversations with machines more naturally than we could do before. And I just decided, okay, this is it. This is the thing I'm going to specialize in. And I set myself a goal. I'd always liked the MVP program, the Most Valuable Professional program from Microsoft, but I was never specialist enough to be in it. I used to run community events, but was never specialist enough to be an MVP. It was something I always had aspired to. So I set myself a goal of, I'd love to be in that program within 12 months. And luckily, I had some great advocates at Microsoft as well, who I knew from my time, and some good friends in the community, and managed to do that. And then that was it. I just specialized in this technology, still doing all the selling and marketing and working across the business. Started a GitHub project on the bot framework community, which then got noticed by the team at Microsoft, which meant I got to know them. And then a position came up on the engineering team. And so I jumped at the chance. I was nervous. I was horrifically nervous. I mean, I've wanted to work for Microsoft since I was about 11. So, I mean, it was something I never thought would ever happen. Bit of a pipe dream. So, I still have to pinch myself every day. So.
Awesome. A great story. It's so funny to see that everyone's story is different, but so far I haven't heard any story that actually started with studying AI on the university. Did we, Amy?
Yeah. No, I don't think we've yet heard someone like, I specifically did an AI course and now I work in AI. A lot of conversion, which is great, right?
Yeah, really cool. So that brings us to another question. What is the most annoying thing about your role in AI?
Oh, well, I mean, I do love my role in AI, but I think the most annoying thing is, as I said, I work a lot with customers, and that they can be internal customers. Like, we support products at Microsoft like Power Virtual Agents and Microsoft HealthBot and Teams, right through to enterprises or even individual users who are coming to us on GitHub, and they're individual developers who are building a project, and everybody wants certain features, right? And it's great when there's a consensus and everybody's asking for integrated testing, and you can go and deliver that, and then you put it out there and everyone's like, yay, you put integrated testing in, that's amazing. And I think the other end of the spectrum, though, is the most frustrating thing is when you have to say no, or you can't really give a definitive answer. You know, someone will come along and say, I've got this incredibly important feature, I need it, and it's blocking me delivering this bot out to, X number of people. And we will always, as PMs or people on the team, engineers, try and say, okay, does this apply to a broader set of people? Where does this sit in our priority list? We have hundreds of feature requests that we have to go through. And you always try and fit it in, even if you have to say, yes, we should be able to do this, but it's going to be in 9 months. But sometimes you have to say, no, we're really sorry, this feature is pretty niche. And we'll work with that person to understand how they can potentially work around it. But as a program manager, I think my most core instinct is to make the customer as happy as possible and the end user as happy as possible. And sometimes not being able to do that straight away, at least, is frustrating.
That's such a good one, and actually not something we've had already, which is great. So and applies to everyone's role. Like, saying no is hard, but sometimes you have to say no because there's not enough hours in the day and stuff like that as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. To get everything done, and it's disappointing, but it's a great answer to that question. Actually, I
think the one thing I would add as well is the managing the expectations of people when it comes to AI. For an AI specific answer here would be, people expect when you say we've got this intelligent bot, they think it's going to be like HAL, right? Or it's like some super intelligent thing that's going to learn on its own. That's it. You just let it off it goes into the wild, and it just does its own thing. And I mean, we're improving all the time, but we're nowhere near that yet. And so sometimes actually seeing managing people's and tempering people's expectations is interesting as well.
Yeah, no, great answer. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about kind of what you're doing, what you're excited about, and also how you got into the space that you are. I think it'll be inspiring for lots of different people to see that sort of progression. Up next is our quickfire round. So, Gary, welcome to the quickfire round number one. The quickfire round consists of 6 questions. Myself and Henk will alternate. And what we want you to do is, when we ask you a question, to just come up with the first answer that comes into your head. These are all questions that you'll probably have kind of dealt with. So there'll be something hopefully that comes up for you. If there isn't, that also tells us something as well. So it's okay to say, actually, I don't have an answer for that, because that shows the variety for us too. Okay, so let me start with the first question. We'll ease you in gently here, Gary. And the first question is, what was your first programming language?
Turbo Pascal.
Wow. Okay. Did we have Pascal before, Henk? I feel. Did someone say Pascal? Was Terry? Did Terry say Pascal? No.
No, Terry said PHP.
PHP, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pascal, good one. Very nice.
Yeah. I also learned Pascal on my first programming jobs and school.
No.
It was very popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what programming language did you use last?
C#. That's pretty much what I use all the time. And I'm very, very C# heavy. I love C#.
Nice. That's what we like to hear. Cool. Next question. We're going to change tact a little bit. So this is all about learning. So what was the last thing you learnt in AI? Sort of no more than one sentence, if possible.
Wow. I've been doing a lot recently with our speech stack. So we've been doing a lot with telephony. So understanding our text-to-speech and speech-to-text capabilities and how that stack works.
Very nice.
All right. What's your favorite event on the AI calendar?
I love Microsoft Build. I think it's my favorite event, and I know I'm biased, but I love it, and I can't wait for it to be in person again. That's the one thing I'm missing. So, yeah, but Build 100%.
I know it's an exciting conference, isn't it? Wonderful. So the next question is a bit about skilling. So I know we all have a laundry list of things that we want to look into. So what area of AI is at top of your skilling list next?
For a while, I've wanted to actually get into and understand better machine learning, because I use a lot of cognitive services and sort of ready-made AI services, if you like. I would love to understand more under the covers, like how it works, when I have the time. That would be on my list. When I have the time.
When someone creates a 26-hour day, yeah?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, this question might not be relevant, but you might have a good answer to it. So what training framework did you use last?
It's what training for. Yeah, I don't think that's probably not relevant for me. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah.
I heard
yeah.
I guess could you say that like Lewis is like
that's the one thing that came to mind was I use Lewis and Q&A Maker pretty much every day. So yeah, I guess that's the closest I'd get at the moment.
It's a good one because it's like a hybrid, right? So Lewis, for anyone that doesn't know, is the language understanding service from Microsoft. Yep. And it allows you to build sort of, what it says in the name, what it does on the tin, language understanding. So it breaks down concepts in language, and you provide it data and you kind of train it into what you want it to focus on. So yeah, that nice little hybrid piece, which is quite cool. Wonderful. Great stuff. Well, Gary, That was the end of the quickfire round. You survived. It was great.
Oh,
You had some
I've done it.
amazing
Okay.
answers.
Yeah. All right.
I know. Get another coffee. It's early on a Thursday here in the UK. So no, thank you so much for taking part and being such a good sport around it as well. Everyone's answers have been varied and different. And again, to be honest, that's kind of what me and Henk wanted. We don't want people to just be answering it all the same, because we believe it's not like that out there. It's all very, very different depending on what you're working on. Wonderful. Well, Gary, that's all from us. Can you believe it? We're already sort of 20 odd minutes in.
Flew by. I had such a good time though. Thanks for inviting me on.
Of course, it's been great to hear about what you're working on. Gary, you'll be available in the cafe afterwards to chat with people and maybe kind of show off a few different things you're working on. So as I mentioned, if you want to chat with me, Henk, Gary, after the show, go to aka.ms/abitofai-cafe. And you can get there. Also, we tend to post that link in the chat just now so that you have that available. But Gary, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the cafe.
Wonderful. See you there. Thanks.
Thank you. Cool. So now it's time for our Learn modules of the week. What did you pick, Amy?
Oh, this one was an easy one, but I've kind of put something in there that I actually need to go through myself. So this was a kind of added into my skilling list. We're going to be focusing all on conversational AI this week. And because Gary works on our Bot Framework Composer team, I've popped in a module there that's create a bot with Bot Framework Composer so that you can go in, get started, and sort of figure out that environment. If you do that and then attend build, you'll be able to see what's happening with the latest and greatest, which will be exciting. The second module I picked up was one called Discover Microsoft Guidelines for Responsible Conversational AI Development. So thinking about that responsible AI piece, you are building an agent that talks with people. How can you design that? How can you be transparent about the fact that it is a chatbot? How can you do things like human handoff and all that great stuff? So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, we have a Cloud Skills Challenge for you at aka.ms/abitofai-learn. Have you done those modules, Henk?
No, I absolutely have to do them. So I'm going to do the Cloud Skills Challenge. So thank you.
Go and do our own Cloud Skills Challenge this week, so that's exciting. With just a few minutes left, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us today, and we really, really hope you've enjoyed the show. If you're regular and you come along every week, you know this is every Thursday, 10 a.m. CET, and check out your time zone. We have that available on the website at abitofai.show. Do come and join us in the abitofai.cafe. Join us as a bit of AI cafe after the show at aka.ms/abitofai-cafe. If you want to check out anything regarding this episode and any of our previous ones, you can go and watch it at abitofai.show. And with that, all we've got left is say thank you so much for watching A Bit of AI show with Henk and Amy.
Thank you.